From the Crush Studio in sunny Florida, this is the Disney Crush Podcast. And now your two tempests in a teacup, Dave and Tony Ann.
On this week's The Disney Crush Podcast, our friend Kathleen comes on and tells us about her trip to Disneyland Paris. Plus a little bit of Facebook and a whole lot of silliness along the way. Episode 382 of the Disney Crush Podcast. It's coming up now. How you doing, David?
Good. What's up? How's it going?
It's going fine. It's Rich's birthday today.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Rich. Does he get like all month like you? Or?
No,
he just gets one day.
Well, actually, no, we're celebrating Saturday, so okay. But this is the pitfalls. You know, I try to wish people happy birthday on our group, the Friends of Disney Crush, when I know it's their birthday. But because it was Richard's birthday this morning, I failed to look up birthdays, so it's Shelley Rohde's birthday today too. So I'm sending out birthday wishes to her. Hopefully she hasn't stopped listening because I just now at 7:00 tonight posted happy birthday to her in the group. So.
Shelley, she had a lot on her mind with Rich's birthday.
And I miss people's birthdays. Some people, first of all, they don't include them in their Facebook profile. Some people don't put their birthdays, so I miss birthdays like that, and then I feel bad. And I'm not a mind reader, so if I don't know it's your birthday.
Yeah, you don't know. Hey, well, it's March 6th. We're recording this on March 6th, so people don't think that today is somebody's birthday. This is actually March 6th.
Well, today is probably somebody's birthday.
Well, today, yes. Probably somebody, somebody has a birthday, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's somebody's birthday, so.
Yeah. But this is March 6th. We're recording this, so happy birthday, Shelley and Rich. And whoever else we forgot.
Yeah, because I'm sure it's somebody else's birthday.
Absolutely. So what else is going on? You got any breaking news?
No, did you see the that video from Guardians of the Galaxy from the queue, and it showed everybody holding their noses and there was something disgusting on the wall and floors?
No, where was that at? What was that?
It was posted in our group, the Friends of the Disney Crush, but
oh really?
And it's been going around Facebook all morning, all day, but they're saying that it's human feces. I don't understand how that could be because it's on the wall. I'm thinking more likely it's what we in the business call emesis, vomit to the layperson. People were saying it was human feces in the queue of Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't understand how it could possibly be that because it was all over the wall and the ground, and more than likely somebody got sick projectile, and that I could see that hitting the wall. But anyway, but you just see this TikTok where everybody's holding their nose, walking through the queue, and then they zoom in on this shot of brown stuff, liquidy.
Could be just clickbait.
Well, you go back to the group and find the video.
I don't know. I've been busy, Tony, and I had to work.
That I've heard that excuse like last week by somebody.
I've started filing pictures, and I just I had a lot to do, so I haven't really had time today to go to our group.
Oh, I've never loved you more than I did just at that moment. So anyway, yeah. Anyway, speaking of pictures and albums, I put the right before we came on, I put this week's Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of Facebook in a folder, and now ask me if I can find it.
Well, you're supposed to be able to find it quickly. That's what it's all about.
Called Facebook. That's not. See, I think I made the mistake of making two different folders called Facebook, which could be problematic. You got to try not to do that. There it is. I think I found it. Oh yeah, that's a really old one. Why do I have too many folders called Facebook, Dave?
I don't know. That's your
okay. I think I got
obsession, not mine.
It's my obsession.
Mm-hmm. Filing pictures.
Okay, you ready?
Ready for what?
Facebook.
Oh, I thought you had news.
No, I don't really have news. Food and Wine started. Not Food and Wine. Flower and Garden started this week. We talked about that. There's new garbage cans. There's an Orange Bird garbage can and a Spike the Bee garbage can. They're very cute. I don't know if you're going to get close enough to them to eat off them. I think they're kind of behind a kind of like a velvet rope, I think. I don't know. I'd love to eat off the Orange Bird garbage can, but
Yeah, that would be cool. Bronco would definitely like to do that.
yeah. And something happened at Fantasmic earlier this week. There, somebody posted a video of, at the end where the people come out on the steamboat and they have their little flags, which I'm going to have at my funeral for all my friends to wave the flags. The steamboat didn't come through. They just had all the characters appear on the mountain and they were shaking their little flags up there.
Well, yeah.
There was no boat.
Yeah, I heard that night and everybody was talking about it was a new ending. I think it just maybe the steamboat broke down.
Yeah. It wasn't a new ending. It was just the steamboat broke down. So, but somebody, let's get into Facebook, Dave.
Oh, okay.
On this week's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of Facebook. Bing.
Oh.
Here's a little flip for you.
This is directly related to that evening. Fantasmic was canceled in Hollywood studios. I think this might have been the next day I don't know. We had a dinner package. They told us to see guest relations to see what they would do for us. Does anyone know what we can expect? Wondering if it's worth the wait. And they updated that they were given $10 gift cards per person, or they were given a choice. $10 gift card per person and their family, or 2 lightning lanes per person on a day and park of our choice. They were actually compensated for the Fantasmic getting canceled. Now, I've never heard of anybody getting compensated before for Fantasmic getting canceled, but these people were. They had the Fantasmic dining package. I'm pretty sure it says when you get that package,
No refund.
that Fantasmic is subject to cancellation. Because, I mean, it gets canceled for weather all the time in the summer when it rains because they won't let the actors out on that wet stage.
Yeah, I'm taking the lightning lanes.
You think you would take the lightning lanes over the $10 per person?
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, unless I had like a family of 20 or something, then I'd be like, yeah, let's all pitch in and do something. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I think I'd take what would you do? Would you take the money or the lightning lanes?
Yeah, probably the lightning lanes. Don't you say it like that? Yeah.
Because most of the time it's just me and Veronica.
Yeah. So what's 10? How far are you going to get with $20?
Yeah, not very.
It'll buy one drink for one of you. You can't even get 2 drinks.
That's my and I can have a lot more fun on the lightning lanes.
Yeah, you each get 2 rides. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, David.
Okay, Tony Ann.
I have one more Facebook, and I've heard this before. So, please, this is about the parking lot. Please be aware, at least at Magic Kingdom, if you have a wheelchair accessible van or vehicle, you are told to double parking in 2 lanes by Disney staff to allow for your ramp to deploy. We have now gotten several rude and threatening notes about how we have been parked over several days. Yes, we were in the medical parking lot. No, we were not over any lines except the one we were told to be over in our 2 separate spots. Yes, staff members have already been notified about the notes when they went from rude to threatening. So, and I've seen this before, that people have been told by parking lot cast to park in over 2 spots, and that's because they have the ramp they have to open up the side. I've even seen people with big trucks being told, yeah, you're not going to fit in one of these spots, park on this end, and they direct them to park what you might see. If you saw this in the Publix parking lot, you'd say they were parked like jerks, but they're being directed to do so because of the size of their vehicle or because they need the handicap, they need the extra space. So apparently other guests are then being jerks and writing them nasty notes. Hey, you parked like an idiot. Or so if you see somebody who's parked like an idiot at Walt Disney World, just mind your business. Like, really affect your day. If you see somebody parked in 2 spots in the handy, there's a really good chance they were told to do that.
Well, 99.999% sure they were told to do that. I've seen it. I've seen big trucks, big 4x4 trucks like that,
Right.
parked like that. And it's obvious what they're doing. And who's carrying around a pencil and a paper? or a pen and a paper.
Actually, I do have a Sharpie and Post-it notes in my bag.
Well, of course you do. You file pictures. I mean, come on. I would assume that you would have something like that.
But I'm not leaving notes on
Probably
people's cars.
If I ask for a
criticizing
rabbit, you
their
probably
car.
pull a rabbit out of your bag too.
No,
Can I have a rabbit?
No. But yeah, so there's a good chance they were told to park like that. I've noticed like some places in Disney have really narrow spots. So if you have one of those big trucks, you kind of have to park in 2 spots.
No, the parking in Disney is so tight. They made those spots. So, yeah, and plan on getting your door dinged because we've had our door dinged.
Yeah.
And that's terrible. I mean, people just don't care. They slam open their doors and.
Dave, that's all I've got for Facebook. You've got nothing else for me?
No, I got nothing. No.
Nobody's been doing any misconnections lately. I don't know if people have given up on love.
If you got one, send us one. We'd love to play it.
I'm afraid what we might get.
Oh, well, that is true. That could be. Well, we don't have to play it. We could just read it to ourselves and laugh about it.
That's all I got. So let's move on to our guest.
Oh, sounds good.
So Kathleen Pantaleo is here to tell us about her trip to Disneyland Paris.
That's
right. Un poquito. I kept speaking Spanish back to people speaking French to me, so I was not a great French-speaking person.
Oh, gosh.
That's okay.
I would respond in Spanish, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's all right."
Kaboo.
That's cool.
Yep.
So
Everyone spoke English. We did not have any problems.
You didn't have that problem.
No.
So tell me if this is true. I know you normally go to Disney World for Princess Marathon, half marathon weekend, the week of President's Week, because you have off from work that week, right?
Yep.
I heard that the cost was so prohibitive that it was about the same price to go to Paris. Is that true?
So yeah, I usually take Amtrak for February break just because snow and delays. So Amtrak is making some track changes and they canceled my train. I had booked it in March and they canceled it in like the beginning of September. So the beginning of September school calendars are out already. So buy a plane ticket and it was like $973 round trip. And round trip to Paris was like $370.
Oh
so
my gosh.
I know, it was absolutely obscene. My cousin and I went out to dinner one night and I was chatting with our friend about my trip on the Adventures by Disney trip 2 summers ago and how much I loved Paris. And she decided she had never been to Paris before. So she was like, let's go to Paris over February break. And I was like, okay, let's see if we could figure this out. And it ended up being cheaper to go away to Paris. And we went to Paris for 3 nights and then we did Brussels for 1 night. And then we went from Brussels to Paris and we did it all by train, which was absolutely amazing.
She said she went to Brussels. So can you tell us about the other places you went to before you got to Disneyland Paris? Had you been to Disneyland Paris before? I thought you had.
Yes, I went in the summer of 23.
Okay. Cool.
I did an Adventures by Disney trip.
Oh, nice.
If you, I mean, it's ridiculous, but if you ever get an opportunity to do the London Paris trip, my friend and I went and we added the Disneyland Paris to the end of it and stayed at the Hotel Newport Bay, which is like, they say it's like our beach and yacht club, but it's really not as high caliber. It is dated. It's beautiful, but it's very dated. But we had a ball. So I knew going into this trip that I was like, oh, we don't have to go to Disneyland. And my cousin was like, oh, no, we're absolutely going to Disneyland. I can't go and not see it. So it was really a fun addition.
Wonderful.
So we went to Paris. We were just going to, bounce around, but we ended up getting a Viator, which we have tons of those here in America. There's places all over America that use those. We took off on the night of February 15th at 10 p.m. from JFK and landed around 11 a.m. in Charles de Gaulle. And we used a Viator transfer from the airport to our hotel. which was like 40 minutes, which was so great for the 5 of us and all of our luggage. And then we did a via tour the next day of a 6-hour tour in Paris and did all the hot spots. And that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of walking and very, very, very cold. My nephew left his coat and we didn't realize it until we were like all the way at the airport. So that was a lot of fun, bundling up and buying. The only thing we could find that was coat-like was like $1,300. So
oh my gosh.
He went with scarves, sweatshirts, and bundled up with like girly frilly gloves were the only things we could find, the poor kid.
Aww.
But we had a ball. It was wonderful, but we were definitely exhausted from jet lag and then it being freezing. But it was a wonderful trip. And then we ended up taking Eurostar on Wednesday morning to go to Brussels. And I know I sound like a broken record, anyone who has spoken to me for the last 3 weeks. If you ever get a chance to go to Brussels, it's one of the coolest places I've ever been. It's like walking in the Germany pavilion, but it's real. It's like our hotel was right near their castle. So you know that like where the clock is and those, it's just so cool. It's like cobblestoney and they have like a ton of like really cute little shops and they literally sell like, we sell chocolate, we sell waffles, we sell French fries. And it's like, that's their like lifestyle. Like that's how they live there. It was just so much fun. And I was like, can we move here? How do we not live here? It's so amazing. I wish we got to spend more time there. Tony and your sister's, a friend of ours at school, went to Brussels in the fall and she was giving me all these like places to go and things to eat. I'm like, how random that we're both going to Brussels in the same school year.
Very cool.
But they went from London and we went from Paris. All of this stuff is very train accessible. Everything is like so simple. When we got to Brussels, we had all of our luggage and we knew that we could take their metro system to our hotel, which was like so close. And we're like, we're not doing this. Let's just hop in a cab. And the way they had to drive us around was like 20 minutes. And apparently if we would have just taken the metro, it would have been 3. So we were like kind of, should we do this tomorrow morning? Is it going to be their rush hour? Because it's like regular work days with all of our luggage and everything. So we had opted to order an Uber, but a family of 5 is not easily travelable with all of their luggage in a taxi. Like we had to separate a couple times.
Right.
It was a good time.
You were talking about food and chocolate, and all that great stuff. What was the best thing, the most amazing thing that you had to eat? And it didn't have to be in the park, maybe even outside the park.
So in Disneyland Paris, they are not the best with food. Anyone you have spoken to has probably told the same story. It's kind of annoying in like Brussels is amazing. The food in Paris is amazing. So, you know, you'd think Disneyland Paris would be wonderful, but it's just not that fantastic. But I think the best thing that between all 5 of us, we would agree is oddly they have a Cars ride, which is basically our backlot tour moved over to Disneyland Paris. There's like these cozy cone little places and they have waffles with Nutella, which was like the greatest thing we ate the entire time we were there, which is ridiculous because they have potential for such great things. But
that's right.
That's interesting. Nutella.
It's annoying. It's rough because we wanted to like have a sit down dinner at this restaurant. It's called Annette's. We thought it was Annette Food Nutella, but it really isn't. It's like their diner. But she was not even mentioned at all. So I just really didn't understand why it was named Annette's. But anyway, we thought it would be like a quick burger and it just took forever. And it was very warm in there and no one was really very helpful. And it was just a bad experience, which kind of stinks because it's right outside of their train station. So it's like the first thing that people see. So they're like, oh, let's go here. But yeah, it was a little disappointing.
It's my understanding that when you go to other countries to American themed restaurants as an American,
it was
it doesn't usually end well.
No, it did not. And like the joke of everyone, like I'm sure you've heard from anyone, like we are obsessed with ice. Apparently it's like a joke. But it's real. Like if you wanted a glass of soda with ice, it was like very difficult. My nephews were not handling that, but
I'd get around just fine because I don't like ice, so I'd be fine.
we are huge ice We're a huge ice family.
I thought I saw a picture of you with a baguette. Was the baguette good at least?
Oh, so the baguette was in Paris, and that was on the second day when we were in Paris. We went to the Eiffel Tower and we saw the Olympic rings were still up. So we took like family photos. We were like, Christmas photos, let's get the Christmas cards ready. And we just like walked across the Seine. I mean, that sounds so ridiculous, but we literally walked across the Seine. My cousins wanted to hang a love lock on one of the bridges because that's like a thing in Paris.
Right.
And so we did their love lock, and then we went to this random boulangerie, and I was like, oh, this is just like in Paris, in France, in the Epcot Pavilion. We have to get baguettes. And that was like the best thing we had in Paris.
Wow. Nice.
Butter. We kept liberating butter pats from our breakfasts. We came home with probably 20 between the 5 of us. So it was good. And I think in Brussels, the best thing was French fries, to answer all of the questions. Cool. The French fries we all had a kick out of. There was this one place that we went to and they had 108 different sauces. And I couldn't like figure out how you could possibly have 108 sauces, but they had them on tap, which I thought was very entertaining. I wish I took a picture of that, but I went with boring ketchup and I think I was the winner. But it was pretty entertaining to see like this one store was like the size of my bathroom closet, and they just literally pumped out French fries all day. That was all they did.
And had 108 sauces in your bathroom.
I don't even understand. Like what are 108 different sauces? I was like, I can come up with like 6.
Well, what made the French fries so good? What did they do? How different? Was it different or just?
No, it was, we watched them like slice the potatoes and blanch them and then fry them and then take them out and then fry them again. And then like they literally made them right in front of us and they were piping hot and absolutely amazing.
Fresh. That's the way to do it. Right from the potato. Yeah. See?
They do one thing and they do that one thing right.
Yeah. And so we did have beer there. That was like, that's one of the highlights of Brussels is having beer. And that was
it warm beer?
It's interesting because they have different beers and some are warm and some are cold. It's based on what temperature they would taste best at, which I was excited to know that I could have a cold beer because, you know, us Americans, we like our things cold. But it was a cool experience. We tried a warm, dark beer, and it was cool to try all the different kinds.
Speaking of doing things well, what does Disneyland Paris do better than our parks here in the States? Is there anything they do better?
It may sound absolutely ridiculous, but because it's so cold there and it was warmer there than normal, but it usually does snow in the wintertime, they have these arcades and covered walkways. We could really use them in Florida during a monsoon rainstorm. There was a time when it was raining. We were in their version of Tomorrowland, and we were like pretty much completely fine because the ride lines were kind of covered. Either they were covered with like umbrellas or they were inside, and that was so much better than like I'm envisioning Guardians of the Galaxy in August. That's going to be an absolute nightmare. So they have a lot of covered spaces. Ride-wise, their Haunted Mansion is amazing. It's a little scarier because it's in French.
It's scarier because it's in French.
Because you don't know what's coming. Like, we know the spiel so well for both Disneyland and Disney World. But like in France, it's like
much scarier because it's in French.
My nephew even commented, he was like, oh, that was actually really scary. So I thought that was very cute. But it's very interesting. And we noticed this, like their headliner attractions that are like our roller coasters, their lines are not that long because most of the population of people that go to Disneyland Paris have little kids. So they spend most of their time in the kids area, like the dark rides in Fantasyland and all of the littler rides like Casey Jr. Train and that. So those lines are really long. but like the Indiana Jones ride was very
Mhm.
quick. Like I think we waited 20 minutes. And the stuff in Adventures Campus was very quick. Like I think we waited the longest was 40 minutes. It was pretty
So-
amazing.
So they buy the spiel that Disney is for kids.
Yeah, I guess so. And it's very funny. Like I was like noticing that there were a lot of like single people like myself. I traveled to Disney World by myself. I noticed there were a lot of single people, but they were sort of like taking it all in and like having a Mickey shaped sandwich on Main Street. They were doing more like not ride things, but more like vibe things.
Okay. Is there anything that we do better here in the US than they do in their parks?
I really wish that they had like a flume ride, but I understand it's freezing. So like a Tiana's would work really well there. They are doing a lot of work in their studios park that it's completely changing. Even the name of the park is changing. I think it's like Disney Discovery or something like that. So they have a lot of work to do. That park is, if I went to that park and spent that much money just for that park for one day, I probably would have been really disappointed because there's not a lot going on in there.
Oh, wow.
But
Okay.
I say in 2026, it's going to be like the place to be.
All right. So don't go to Disneyland Paris till 2026.
Yeah.
Or go next
Wow.
week. You know, it's a great idea.
Speaking of going next week, did you guys plan this around slow or busy times, or did you just wing it?
We
as far as
literally
that
went
goes?
because it was me and the kids have school. So it was our February break. And that it just happened to work out that we were both free and available to go then. I could go in one, over a long weekend. I probably would try to figure out how to do it, but I would pay for it when I go to school the next week.
So how were the crowds and stuff there compared to like over here?
So for us, it happened. I just learned that it was also their February break. They have a week off in February, but going in the summer of 2023, the crowds were absolutely way more crazy than they were in February. So maybe people don't go to Disneyland on their February break. I don't know, but it was not. I like I said, it was like the longest we waited for a ride was 40 minutes.
That's not bad. Yeah. And that it was,
No,
and it's
not at all.
cold too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I would say on the last day it was in the 60s, which was crazy because it was in the 20s on Monday. Because I didn't think to pack like capris or a long sleeve shirt. I had like very thick sweaters and jeans. And
Is there a ride in Disneyland Paris you wish they would bring to Walt Disney World?
I know we have it in Disneyland, but the whole Casey Jr. section, their Pinocchio ride and the Snow White Scary Adventures, I wish we had them in our Magic Kingdom, just because we used to have something similar, like have the Snow White Scary Adventures. The Pinocchio ride is really cute. It's a little scary, but it is a very cute ride. I wish we had more of that kind of stuff. And I wish we had the arcades. I know that's not a ride, but the things in Magic Kingdom's Main Street are just so helpful, especially like when they have a parade twice a day.
I know you said the jacket, you decided to skip the jacket because it was $1,300. Did you guys get any other kind of souvenirs?
That was our crazy Paris part. We were right near a super expensive bougie shopping mall. So no, we didn't buy anything in Paris really. But in Disneyland Paris, we bought like little candies, like chocolates for our offices and maybe something for Auntie Judy that we haven't mailed to her yet as a thank you for booking our trip. I really wanted a Spirit jersey. I have 2 from my trip that summer, but nothing with their merch really threw me. Like, we get super excited for like our Figment popcorn bucket, or they didn't have anything that was like specific to Disneyland Paris that actually any of us bought. I don't think any of us bought anything. My nephew bought something for his girlfriend that was like a Stitch toy that had a blue and white striped shirt on, but that was about it.
Yeah, that's interesting because you'd think that they would have more stuff like that.
They had like a bunch of shops. Like our hotel, we stayed in the Hotel New York Art of Marvel. Our gift shop in our hotel was all Marvel stuff. It wasn't Disneyland Paris stuff. So that was interesting that it was all just Marvel and not like like the typical Mickey lollipops and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything. So we had to go into Disney Springs to do all of that shopping. Actually, I don't know if it's called Disney Springs. It's like their Disney Village.
How
I
was
think
that?
Yeah.
It's really small, but it's really cool because it's being renovated right now. But they have like a Lego store, which my nephews had fun in. It's like, for us, it would be sort of the west end of our Disney Springs, that small section of it. That's how big it was, is just that tiny little section. But everything is so walkable. Like our hotel was a 10-minute walk from our back door, basically, to Disneyland Paris. So
Did you see the nighttime show while you were there?
No, and I'm bummed because the summer when I went in summer of 2023, it was dark too late. So it was like 11:30. So I really wanted to see it, but we were riding rides. We were very busy riding rides, so we missed out on seeing it. But it was cool. I heard it, and I saw some fireworks like behind a building, but I didn't get to actually see the show because I would have loved to see the drone show.
So while you were riding rides, did you feel like anything? Did you wish anything from Walt Disney World was there? I know you said you felt like it needed a flume ride, but was there any rides that you missed from here?
Well, I am a huge fan of like a monorail or a people mover type thing. They do have a train, but oddly, the train wait was like an hour every single time I went to go ride it. So I never really understood that. Maybe people really like that. I'm not sure. But something more along the lines of where I can go and enjoy, especially like I love the people mover because it's like you can sit down and still take in the world around you. I would like something like that. I really think we as a Crusher family should go. I'm sure Kevin would approve of that.
Yeah, he doesn't like the French, but
But so here's what I will offer. And I actually told this to a person at school today that's a huge Disney fan. Getting to Disneyland Paris is super, super simple. If you land in Charles de Gaulle, it's a 9-minute train ride.
Wow.
And like, you can't even wrap your head around how fast that is, because when we came from Brussels to Disneyland Paris, it stops at Charles de Gaulle. So I was like in my head, okay, so say I just arrived and I just hopped on this train. I even need to sit down in a chair. Like it's so quick. I feel like that's the monorail from like Terminal C to the main terminal. That's how fast it is.
Yeah.
It's super easy to get to. So I highly recommend it.
That makes things so much more easier.
It's insane how fast the trains are there and how efficient they are. And it's just such a cool lifestyle. Like we have a friend whose daughter is studying abroad in Paris, and we had her meet us for the day that we went to Disneyland Paris. And like, she was like, oh, I have to go home and write a paper. Like it's just so crazy to me that she took her metro and it was €2.50 to get from like her dorm to Disneyland Paris. Like that's insane.
Wow. We should take note over here.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. I mean, geez. That's the way you got to do it. But everything's it's just different though. Everything's so spread out up here. Like even
I was looking to
World.
see like how much it is. Like our hotel room, I just like was checking online to see like if you asked me how much it costs. It was like €175 for a night. Like, and we were staying at like, I would say an upper moderate or even a deluxe, our hotel. It's just insane to me. Like when we were booking it, my cousin, I was like, oh, we should stay at the Disneyland Paris. That would be amazing. And she's like, oh, that's totally expensive. Like there's no way we could afford that. And it ended up being like, I think our room was like $165. And I think if we stayed the 2 nights, it would have been like $400 a night. $400 a night for the Grand Floridian. Like, could you imagine? That is the premier hotel. Like you walk under that hotel to get into Disneyland. So it's just impressive.
That's so cool.
Like the things that things to buy. Like we went to this convenience store in Paris, and I know this is a ridiculous story, but the deodorant that I use is $9. Let's use that as an example. And in this convenience store, it was €1.75. And it's the exact same stuff, and there's more in it. my cousin's husband was like, I think I need to buy like 6 of them because we use the same. He was like, I think I need to buy 6 of them.
Might as well.
And
Oh
he
my
did.
gosh.
I'll probably
How
get
much-
one for Easter, be my Easter gift. So, or deodorant. But it's just
How
like
much are their
things are
How much are
cheaper
their
there.
avocados?
Well, that's interesting because I love going to grocery stores. So we were in Paris, and it was like, I don't know. I think it was like a euro for an avocado, or like it was super cheap. Like all of their like produce is very inexpensive.
See, that's one of the
Nice.
things I would do. That's what I would love to do, is just go to the stores and grocery stores and stuff, just to see the difference and how
They
they
have
do
a
it.
wall of butter and a wall of yogurt. Yogurt is very popular in France, and it's like they have savory yogurt and sweet yogurt. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about savory yogurt. I should have given it a whirl.
Should have tried
One of our favorites was pear yogurt. My nephew had it for breakfast one morning,
Mm.
and he was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! How do we do this? How do we get this?" Like, I don't know how we transport yogurt to the United
No,
States.
oh gosh, yeah, I go through a lot of butter and a lot of yogurt every week.
Yeah, their butter
Mhm.
is absurd. Like we
Ah.
liberated a bunch of those little packets. That
I'd
and
be doing the same
Nutella.
thing.
Like,
Y-
yeah, we definitely did.
yeah, yeah.
It was really good.
So, Kathleen, do you have any other Disney parks on your wish list, on your to-do list? Is there any other Disney parks around the world you'd like to?
I mean, I would love to do Hong Kong, and I would love to do Tokyo. I don't know if those will ever happen, but this year, so every year on my Christmas card, I have a picture of me in some silly thing. So I decided this year going to Disneyland in August, Disney World a couple times, and I went to Disneyland Paris. So there's going to be a picture of me and my little Kermit Nuimo for my Christmas card this year. So if you're on my Christmas card list, don't listen to this podcast because you'll know, but that's okay.
Cool.
Did you run into Remy anywhere?
A real Remy or Remy? We rode his ride. And
Okay.
he did walk around, and he does have a shoulder pal. My nephew almost bought that for his girlfriend, but he didn't. He was like, what is she going to do with this? I'm like, good point. I'm like, use it, obviously.
Of
But
course.
duh. But he was like, no, I'll get her this Stitch, which is, it's fine. Stitch is fine. He's no Remy, but he's fine. His ride is great. It's better there because there are no glasses. It's just the ride. And I think that's a better experience for anyone who wears glasses.
Yeah.
Glasses are tough with the 3D stuff for
Right.
Yeah.
us nerdy glasses people, but it was a cool experience. They didn't really have characters walking around a lot. I think it was because it was raining for parts of the day and it was just super cold. They had like places you could go to meet them, like our princesses and Mickey. They're inside a building in Disney World. They're inside a building.
So in their version of Disney Springs, they probably didn't have any street performers out because it was cold and rainy.
I don't think they have them. Not that I noticed. There's a lot of construction going on there, so they don't really have room for anything other than people walking through because it's super tight. But I don't think they have streetmosphere that I noticed. That would be fun though.
See, Mr. Maserati would be good over there.
Yeah. That's exactly who I was thinking. Wouldn't that be so funny?
It would if he went over there and visit. Wow, how crazy would that
They would
be?
be like,
over there?
I don't get it. Are you making fun of us? I don't really get it. Like, yeah. No, this is what you look like in America. Yeah. Most of the cast members were super, super sweet. Weirdly, so Tony Ann will understand this because we're from the same area. Oh, I think you are too, Dave. I'm not sure, but there was a person who checked us in the Brussels hotel that was from Shoreham, and I was like, I came all the way to Brussels, and the person checking us in is from Shoreham, which, for those of you who don't know, it's like 5 minutes from my house. It's like the next town over. So I just thought that was very weird. We had no problems with not knowing French or Dutch or German when we were in Brussels. So it was perfect fine.
Oh, that's good to know.
We all swapped our Duolingo apps back to Spanish as soon as we landed in Paris. So we don't need to practice French anymore.
Merci beaucoup.
We
Sing a song, Tony Ann.
No, I'm not singing it. I sang it.
I'll put it in. I'll clip it.
I'm
put it
sure you will. I'm sure you will.
in. She was singing me
I
a
was
song
singing
before we
Lady
came on.
Marmalade when we came on.
So we did a tour in Paris, and it took us to Moulin Rouge, which really
nice.
isn't that. It's not that seedy, or it's not a bad place. It's literally just a nightclub, and it literally means a red windmill.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. That section of Paris called Montmartre is one of the coolest places you will ever visit if you ever get to go to Paris. That is like my favorite place.
Wow, this is good information.
We need to go, Dave.
I know.
I think we should all, as a family, do the Adventures by Disney trip,
I would love to do that.
and it's worth
I really
it.
would love to do that.
It's one of the coolest experiences I've ever had.
Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
I wish we could all go, and like I would imagine us as a Crusher family would have such a great time seeing things that we love. Like going to Disneyland with non-Disney people is wonderful. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, but going with people who know the little ins and outs of everything that we know would have been absolutely amazing.
Sign me up, Dave.
Can we get like Patreon or something? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we need a lot more than that.
A
Yeah, it is
GoFundMe for
obscene.
the Crushers.
Yeah. We can like wordsmith that into
Those
something.
geeks have they have Paris money. They can go fund.
They can have us tag along. Is that what you're trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could
Because
be
I'm a
like
crusher. I'm an OG
I know.
crusher.
I
Not
know.
many people are OG crushers.
No, we have a few.
she could be like
Yeah,
our
that's
travel guide.
Yeah.
Oh, I
you know,
would definitely like take my nephews were like, "You already here, don't you know how to do this?" I'm like, "I don't know how to use the metro. I've never used it before because I was ushered everywhere on my own coach." They're like, "You're so bougie." What is the name that you say when they're the guy from?
Oh, Thurston
Thurston.
Howell. Mhm.
Yeah, I totally was Thurston.
Oh, see, he'd be good over there. He'd fit right in. I'm surprised you didn't run into him.
I know. Looking forward.
Him and Maserati. You know, they hang out there all the time.
They probably do hang out together.
Those two, they hang out together actually.
Probably.
In that little shop, that little bad shop that has the sucky hamburgers or whatever other stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Kathleen, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. That's awesome. It's good.
Yeah. It was super
Seriously,
fun.
thank you.
Anything else?
I don't have anything else. Nope.
Okay. Well, I guess that's going to do it. I guess we're going to say goodbye then. So we will see you guys next week. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Then that's it. All right.
The key of truth has spoken!
Put a check on that. Can you do that, Dave? Can you put a check on that one?